Welcome, everybody, to the Coin Drop Podcast, episode 10. This is beta episode 10, I suppose. In any case, we are back after a pretty massive week of news. Some people might be a little bit more excited about it than others.
Nah, there was nothing. It was a dead week. Absolutely no news. What are you talking about? There was no news. No news.
As you can hear, we have Russ along with me. Russ,
of course. Busy as hell. We're actually a minute behind, and as you can tell, we kind of scrambled to put stuff together, hence no video for our Twitch viewers currently, but we do have some stuff coming later, which, spoiler alert, is the same video as last week. But kind of scrambled to get this together. It's been a pretty busy week. Did a dump run, cleaning up the house, just general shit. I may or may not have gotten into the closed NDA beta for Wayfinder, so I can't or can talk about.
Yay!
Yeah. But that's the thing. I have some thoughts on it. I'd love to share it with you guys. So as soon as that NDA is up, I will share it. I haven't played too much of it yet, but when I can speak on it, I will. I will say we have new art. Our logo art is done, as you can see here on our beautiful Twitch stream. It's our new logo art, banner art for our audio listeners. Obviously, you can't see it, but I'll fix it there. You'll see it. I'll make sure you see it. You can see it.
So before we jump into any of our major, or I guess the major topic for the PlayStation Showcase, we're going to talk about a couple of things just to kind of get them out of the way. The first one being, we've talked a lot about shit games these days, from The Last of Us PC port to Jedi Survivor launching in a terrible state and so on and so forth.
Yep.
This one's going to be a really quick mention, that's about it. But the Lord of the Rings Gollum finally came out, and it is currently the worst rated game of this year by a long shot. And that's kind of difficult to do when you consider how poorly
I think that's an achievement in it and of itself. I mean, that's pretty bad.
At this point, it almost seems like developers are trying to one-up each other. They're like, hold my beer, bitches. So they of course released an apology letter, and it's not even worth reading. At this point, it's ridiculous. Just pretty much games launch, and then developers go, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Yeah,
and they're really not.
Yeah,
it's off on all the ways.
I really want to get a dev on here just to talk, just in general, about like, dude, why is this such a common thing this year? Why is this happening? What are we missing? Because we don't. Sure, not just the year, but definitely this year as like a big dude. Steam has changed the way they handle games now, to the point where they're now requiring publishers to release a demo for PC players because they are tired of the amount of refunds.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I will try and find the source for that, but I believe I read an article that said that Steam has changed it because they've been getting inundated with so many refunds for games that have released on their platform broken. They have basically taken steps to be like, hey, you have to release a demo. Period.
That doesn't surprise me, and that's
the way it should be.
Like that's the way. Very appreciative. Yeah.
That's the way gaming should be. When we were growing up, we had demo discs. Why is that not still a thing in a digital format?
To be fair, back in the day, demo discs were a version of the product, so you can see if you wanted it, not to see if it worked. Sure,
but at this point, kind of the same idea, right? Do you want to buy this product that's clearly, obviously broken? No. So maybe a demo would be great. But yeah.
Interestingly enough, though, to talk about the same topic, Final Fantasy 16 launches here in a little less than a month on June 22nd, and Square Enix and Yoshi P and whatnot, they're so confident about this product, they're releasing it without a first day patch.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
I don't even think a single game has ever released without one in the past, 15 years? You're not wrong. It's bold as shit. It's actually like nail-biting scary, because what if it launches in a shitty state and they don't have anything prepared for it?
Yeah.
You're like, crap. I already went and pre-ordered it. I'm so freaking stoked about the game. It's not even funny. I don't think I've been this excited about a game in a really long time. I've been doing my best to watch nothing. I've watched a couple of the trailers several months ago. I think the December trailer was one of the last ones I watched, and I'm just like, nope, I'm going to go in blind.
Yeah. That's how I try and treat games that I'm really interested in. I'm a little mad I've already gotten some spoilers for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It's almost impossible to avoid 100% of spoilers, but got a few spoilers from that. I'm a little upset about it. I'll play it eventually, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's 16 looks great. It's almost a console seller for me. If I wasn't fairly positive it was going to come to PC because they announced it on the first trailer, probably would have sold the console for me.
Second one.
Well,
yeah,
you know.
Close enough. I mean, when you consider that
just shout out Strix is in chat. Thanks for joining us on the stream here.
Welcome, sir. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to toss them in there too as well.
Yeah, we'll discuss.
Yeah. Anyways, so that one's going to be phenomenal. They did release stuff or the new trailer for it at the PlayStation Showcase, of course. It was actually the launch trailer, which is really early. You don't generally release those a month in advance.
I mean, dude, here's my problem. Not to jump into that because we got something we want to get to before we get to the PS Showcase. I'm really sick and tired of these showcases and people doing this stuff and then showing games we already know are coming that are coming in like a month or two. That's not what these showcases are for, man. They're for showing us future stuff. Not stuff we already know about. Not stuff that's coming literally in 2 months. Show me shit you're like, dude, didn't that leaker, isn't there a bunch of articles saying like there's a ton of stuff Sony didn't show, including like a AAA PC port coming in July, and we don't know about it.
Let's wait.
Yeah, fair. Sorry. I'm hot. As you can tell, I'm hot.
there's definitely reasons to be unhappy about the show. Yeah. I think ultimately it was decent. You know what? Yeah, okay, let's hold off because even I'm getting off topic. Mm-hmm. So the real major topic for the PlayStation 1 is that Steam is being sued. There's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Russ, would you care to explain?
Yeah, so I got successfully marketed by a lawyer for this one. But however you say that. They
reached out to you?
Yeah, well, reached out to me, right? I was watching YouTube, and like a chump, I don't pay for premium, so I watch ads for the first 5 seconds like everybody. And there was this ad on there saying like, hey, there's a lawsuit against Steam for, God, what was it specifically? It's a class action lawsuit against Valve for anti-competitive law-breaking violations, whatever you want to call it. Like, they were doing stuff that was like monopolizing the video game sales department on, something about sale prices, basically. So what it was, anyways, this guy marketed it, and I was like, oh, this sounds kind of legit, but it's through arbitration. So it's not like you're just going to get your money back. This is something you guys have to opt into, and don't take my word for it. Do your research, too. I did mine.
Sounds about right.
Yep. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to give you advice, but this is a thing. You have to opt into it if you're a Steam user, kind of like the Facebook one that happened a little while ago that I think is floating around for people. Anyways, look into it. Just look up Steam lawsuit 2023. You'll find it. The article I'm referencing currently is on Verify This. It is an actual lawsuit. This is legitimate. Basically, Steam is Steam. It's the largest publishing platform for PC, period. They're finally getting some conflict. Yeah,
for a while it was the only one to use. Now
right.
There's 10,000 and 90% of them suck ass, but you know.
Yeah. So in that time span, and I think this started to come out when they were going through their PC battle with Epic Game Store, right? So I think this is where this kind of started. It came out that Steam was arbitrarily, I don't think that's the right word. Anyways, they were demanding that publishers of their games that are pushing them to Steam sell them at the lowest price on Steam, period. They were not allowed to sell the game anywhere else cheaper at all if it was going to Steam. So, super illegal. Super duper illegal.
Yeah. So they weren't allowed to sell it cheaper elsewhere.
Correct.
It had to be the cheapest, or at least the same price as everywhere else.
Right. So basically, Steam set the market for everything, right? So like GG Games or whatever, or GG.com or
GOG.
That one. Yep. A lot of those. Now, the way people got around this was bundles. So like you had Humble Bundle, you could get a bunch of games because you're discounting kind of this bundle. So, but
I love those bundles.
Yeah, there were ways around this in this time period, but like it's a big deal for a company to go, you're going to sell it at the lowest price on our platform, guaranteed. So this is a lawsuit. You have to opt into it. You give them a little bit of information. Nothing personal information. It's like an email. Well, I guess it's kind of personal. It's not like you're not giving them your social. Like, it's not an obvious scam kind of thing, right? So your name, your address, your Steam name, little bits of other information. And they send you legal documents to basically sign, yeah, you want them to represent you. Just a heads up, this is apparently really common too. I looked this up because I read through all the legalese, which took a long time to make sure that this wasn't a scam. There is a 40% take. So the lawyer that represents you takes 40% of whatever they get, which from what I can tell is pretty average. Now, the guy I went with, I don't remember his exact name. The guy I went with, there is a clause in there that says they will not take an exorbitant amount. So if that 40% is over some arbitrary number, they're not going to take 40%. They're probably going to take like whatever, they decide. But
meaning like if it's like $100, they're not going to take 40 from you. They're going to take probably
no, if it's I don't know. It seems unclear. The way I took it was like, if you're getting $100,000, we're not taking $40,000 from you. So I think it was the higher amount. Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. The strange thing though is like, who would get that kind of money?
Well,
from a lawsuit like this? Other than developers, I guess.
Yeah, well, developers for sure. But as users, I don't know about you, man. You're not so much a PC guy, but like Steam summer sales are wallet busters.
They really are.
I have about 213 games in my library. I have friends with 500, 600, 700 games.
Did you say 200 some odd games?
Yes, 200 something odd games.
Pretty sure I've got like 330.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So like I'm on the low end. So now what this guy was saying is you could, again, I'm not a lawyer, I can't say this for sure, but you could earn up to about 3 times the cost that you paid for each individual game.
Hey,
so you could be looking at a decent amount of money, but you have to sign up for this, guys. Again, if you look it up, you will find it. It's out there. It's not hard. Do your research. Double check, verify, read everything. These are legal documents, meaning if you fuck this up trying to like get out of it, so just be really, really fucking careful, period.
Do you have any idea if this includes stores like PlayStation and Xbox?
I think this is only a lawsuit against Valve. So yeah.
No, I meant the pricing. Where the required the pricing to be cheapest on Steam.
I don't know. I think it's only for PC. So I don't think PlayStation Store or anything like that is in it.
Well, the main reason I ask is because I noticed for the longest time that Steam was really the only place that had really, really good deals for years.
Yes.
Up until probably about the time that Epic and Apple were going at it.
Yeah.
That was really when Sony finally started releasing constant sales, very similar to the way Steam does.
Right.
And it'd be interesting to see if that was sort of the cause, which is really cool because that just means I get my games at a cheaper price elsewhere.
Yeah, so
that's interesting to know. Okay.
So reading directly from this article here, guys, just a little blurb from it. Again, this is on verifythis.com. A video game publisher called Wolfire Games is currently leading a class action lawsuit against Valve, the company that operates the computer gaming marketplace and public platform Steam. The lawsuit alleges that Valve is using monopoly power to force game publishers to sell their games through Steam and pay fees for every sale at Steam's chosen rate, which hurts the publisher's ability to make money. It goes on with more and more and more about this, but basically it breaks down to say this is all true. They found all this information, and you can sign up for it. It's going into arbitration. I think the judge ruled in favor of Wolfire Games, so it's going into arbitration for people to sign up.
So it sounds to me like it's a hook, line, and sinker.
It's done. Like the lawsuit, as far as like determining guilt, is complete. Valve is at fault. Just like the lawsuit with Facebook a while ago with the privacy violation. So you have to opt into it just like that that lawsuit. And, all I can say is law moves very slow. So maybe by the time you're 80, you'll get some money. That's just
Right.
yeah. Like don't think you're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna build a new PC in a year. Nah, it's probably gonna be 7 to 10. It's not
It'll
gonna
be
be
a while.
yeah.
It'll be
It's not
soon.
it's not a fast process by any means. But just wanted to let you know that's out there, guys. So if you are a Steam user like me, if you've got 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 million games, definitely maybe look into it. Definitely maybe.
Heck, I haven't even looked into it, but perhaps I should.
I think you should. Honestly, I recommend everybody do your research, look into it. All you have to do is, I think the guy I went with actually, yeah, so it actually calls him out here. William Butcher, I think, is the guy that I signed up with. He's the one that had the YouTube ad that I saw. It's like, all right, this sounds interesting.
Probably seen that very same one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's legitimate. It is a thing. It is happening. Sign up if you want. If not, whatever. You may or may not get money. Who knows? But that's really the gist of it. I just happened to be watching the right ad at the right time, and like, hold on, is this actually a thing? So yeah. That's all there is to that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the big topic. Since it's going to take such a long time to talk about, right?
Yes.
So on Wednesday, starting at 1 p.m. your time, Pacific time.
Yes, sir.
There was finally a PlayStation Showcase that was more than your typical state of play. They had quite a lot to show. They had quite a lot to show that could have been more, meaning there was a lot of CG trailers. There was also a lot of non-CG trailers, though, and they really did show quite a bit, to be completely fair. They showed, it was probably like, I didn't actually count these out, but looking at it real quick, they announced something like 25 games, maybe even more. From anywhere from PS5 exclusive to PSVR 2 exclusive to indie showcases and just multi-platform titles as well. But they really did show a lot. There was some sparsed in there that we knew about already, which you already kind of bitched about when it comes to like Immortals of Aveum coming next month, Final Fantasy 16 coming next month, so on and so forth. But so before we really get into each individual game, the only contention I have for that is one of them was a launch trailer, which I guess I agree with you on that one. Having a launch trailer at your PlayStation Showcase, or just a showcase, end of story, doesn't matter who it is, that's a bit...
It's a waste of time.
Lazy.
It's a waste of fucking time. It's a waste. It's a filler ass ad for a game everybody already knows about. They already did a full 30-minute state of play on it. They already talked the hell out of the game. It's fucking filler. It was dumb. I was mad. We do have a reaction video of me watching the state or the press conference as well. If you want to watch that, it's on our new YouTube channel, which I don't actually have that link, so I don't know what our YouTube channel is. Can you tell I'm prepared?
I'll go ahead and toss you the link so it can be posted.
Yeah.
Do you know
what?
It's actually still here on the Twitch. It stays on the Twitch for 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So if you get here and watch it sooner rather than later, you can watch it. But it will be on the YouTube channel as well. Right now, I don't have the link. I have it. I just don't have it pulled up. So I'll get it for you later.
I'll search it. You keep talking.
Okay, I was going to say, as for the showcase itself, like I said, they did show quite a bit. The biggest one probably easily, really, being Marvel Spider-Man 2. They showed a lot of gameplay. There was a quick trailer, and then there was a 10-minute section that was, or a gameplay section that just looked so freaking good. The gameplay, the graphics, it just looked damn fun. In just about all the ways. Seeing Peter Parker as...
Symbiote Spider? As Venom, I guess you could call it as Venom. Yeah, it's a symbiote, but yeah.
I wanted to say a different name, and I knew it was wrong. So I didn't quite say it. I even saw some comparison videos of what Spider-Man, what's it called, the remastered or whatever, when they re-released it on PlayStation 5 with the better graphics and all that other good stuff. And it has a fair amount of upgrades, lots of ray tracing upgrades. The muscle deformation, everything loads faster, even though it already loaded stupid fast on the other one. You can see that they're really taking advantage of the PS5's SSD to allow Spider-Man or even Miles to really traverse the city significantly faster, which just goes to show you how good the streaming filtering technology is. That way you can get so much data in at once, without having to worry about pop-in and stuff.
So I did get that link, guys. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@CoinDropVods. Our streams will also be posted there, as well as any like reaction videos or anything like that we end up doing in the future. So those will be on that channel. That's VODS for VODs. I liked the aggressiveness of Peter Parker. Like, you could actually see the symbiote kind of affecting his mind. I'm not so sure I'm sold on the voice actor now, because it was almost cringy to me. Like, he felt really forcibly angry. Like, it didn't sound like real anger so much as somebody acting like they were angry. And I know that's like that's the bleed, right? Like, that's the fourth wall breaking a little bit. And I'm glad they did it, don't get me wrong, because like that's part of the symbiote, that's part of Venom, is it fucks with your head, right? So that's definitely part of it, but it felt a little forced. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I think ultimately, even if the voice actor or the not great acting is there, the gameplay will be. And ultimately that's what's going to matter. And I mean, we know that Insomniac knows what they're doing. I'm
without a doubt. The story is going to be great. The gameplay is going to be great. If the voice acting's lacking a little bit, that's understandable and totally fine. I gotta say, man, I went into this, and it's in my reaction video, I went into this hoping for something that was going to sell me on the console, and literally everything they showed was like, okay, well, it's going to come to PC. All right, well, like there was even that new Samurai game, or Samurai Ninja game that they showed, which was, I don't remember what the hell it was called, but it looked really good, and it was like, oh, coming to PC in the future, or whatever, right? Like,
that's pretty much every game these days. You pretty much can't ignore them, really.
It's I don't know though. Like, at the same time, I was expecting a console seller, and I didn't really see one. Granted, if ports continue to go the way they're going, maybe it is time to actually just buy a PS5.
Which they probably will. Unfortunately, it seems like the console versions of games are where the polish really happens, because there's less variation in hardware, right? So it's so much easier.
Didn't used to be that way.
No, it didn't. It really didn't. But I guess that's why I love the PlayStation. I've been playing it a lot more, actually, the past week or so, and mostly because I was actually kind of ignoring it for my Steam Deck, playing a whole bunch of PC games and stuff. I'm like, man, I haven't even finished not Burning Shores, but Forbidden West. I haven't finished the new God of War. I need to go back and finish these.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. I totally just lost it. Damn it! Just dropped out of my brain. I will say this. I'm very disappointed in the lack of co-op games. I said it, I think, on our last episode last week, that like, if Spider-Man 2 was going to be co-op, that's a console seller. Like, I'm buying it. There's nothing co-op, right? Like, there's nothing that I saw that was co-op that looked cool, that made me feel like I need to buy this so Tim and I can play it together.
The only disagreement I would have with you there was when they showed off Lords of the Fallen 2. That is, of course, going to be a co-op game, and that game looked fucking cool.
The reboot. And it's not a sequel. It's just Lords of the Fallen.
I think it actually is technically lore-wise a sequel. I was looking into it recently. They originally called it 2, and then they rebooted it. Yeah, they've been so super wishy-washy. Mm-hmm. But for me, I actually really enjoyed the first game to begin with, even though it wasn't phenomenal. It was decent enough, and it was one of the early Dark Souls style ripoffs.
Yeah,
and it had a decent story to it. Anyways, for me, watching the trailer, just the fact that they chose Iron Maiden for the trailer, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm buying this game for that alone.
That's cool.
For those that don't know, Iron Maiden is my favorite band, and they have been since I was like 14, so pretty, like, over 20 years at this point. So I was like, that's fucking awesome. Yeah. But the gameplay did look damn good too. The gameplay, the graphics, it all looked significantly improved over their previous game, which I don't know if they've made anything in between Lords of the Fallen 1 and this new one.
I don't think they have.
I don't think they have, which is surprising that they've managed to increase their ability, I guess, their output. I don't know how to word it. But I mean, it was a pretty significant upgrade.
If it's UE5, I mean, UE5 is doing most of the heavy lifting there.
Which it is.
I would say this: Alan Wake 2 would have been a console seller for me, but it's an Epic game, so it's absolutely coming to PC. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that's Like, so I was like,
there is no
this looks
question. It was
amazing,
already
and it's like,
announced as an Epic Game Store PC
well,
exclusive.
there you go. I guess I have to buy that on PC or on Epic, but that's fine. Then there was Marathon. Tim and I have very different opinions on that game, so I'm juiced for it because, like I said, my brother works at Bungie. He just recently left Destiny to work on an unannounced game, and he's working on Marathon. So that's super dope. I can't wait to talk to him about it. But they're unfortunately dark right now until gameplay, so he won't tell me anything.
Which is totally fair and expected.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's really sad. It's really sad looking at this trailer that you chose to show all these different PlayStation games in the works. Almost none of them were shown.
Yeah, I know, right?
And none of the ones that are in here are coming out anytime, like within the next, say, 5 months or so. So why the hell didn't they show these ones?
Dude,
I didn't even. I forgot about some of these.
Yeah.
Just watching them as it's playing.
I'm telling you that
they showed off. They bought Haven Studios, which they showed off their first game. Haven Studios, by the way, is Jade Raymond, the mastermind behind the originality of Assassin's Creed.
My love. I crushed on her hard, dude. I crushed on her hard.
Yeah.
I crushed on her hard.
Her next game is titled Fair Games. It's another competitive game. This type heist experience.
Yeah.
It was a CG trailer. Didn't show a shit, so that's all I can say about it.
Yeah. Marathon, I would argue, showed us more than free games.
Yeah, probably. So, speaking actually of co-op games, I almost forgot that Helldivers 2 was shown, and I actually really enjoyed the original Helldivers, which was almost like a Diablo 2 style twin-stick shooter.
Yeah.
But this one's a third-person shooter co-op experience, and I'm surprised they changed the genre of it, because it imagine like
it's Starship Troopers. Yeah,
exactly. There actually is a Starship Troopers. Yeah, there actually is a Starship Troopers game coming out that looks kind of okay, like decent enough to maybe play. Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't realize it released. Okay,
I want to buy it.
This looks like PlayStation's like kind of like I did earlier. Hold my beer. Let me make another one.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, Helldivers
it actually did look pretty good.
Helldivers had great lore. I remember having it on. God, was it PS3? Was it that long ago?
So.
Yeah.
It might have been early. I think it actually might have been early PS4.
Might have been. But yeah, I remember playing it. It was fantastic. I'm stoked that it's a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter now. I love bugs in space and machine guns. That's just, I'm on it. So that was really cool. But again, it'll likely be on PC. Actually, I think they confirmed in the trailer that it was going to be on PC. And unless it doesn't have cross-play, just get it on PC. If it has crossplay, I'm getting it on PC. If it doesn't, might have to consider buying a PS5 for a fucking second party AA game. Like that's what's gonna sell it for me, Sony. Co-op, fucking co-op.
Oh, you know there's gonna be more games, but yeah, co-op needs to be more of a thing these days for sure.
Yeah.
There's too many games coming out that Spider-Man's a perfect example of
should have been.
Yeah,
missed
really
opportunity. So I just overall it was interesting. I felt like it was weird that they showed a lot of games that were, one, not exclusive to them, and two, not exclusive to the console, when like the whole thing was about Sony. So
speaking of that, actually, Microsoft responded like the same day, if I'm not mistaken, with a tweet, and it says, "What a good-looking group," and it's literally nothing but games that was announced at the PlayStation Showcase. Obviously, there was obvious ones that weren't going to be already: Immortals of Aveum, Alan Wake 2, Dragon's Dogma 2. I can't wait for that when I left the first one. Plucky Squire, Teardown, Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's Microsoft being, "Hey, it's coming to us too, guys."
Yeah.
More or less, but. Yeah, I mean, there's the Cat Quest game, which actually does look kind of fun. To be honest with you.
There were so many weird one-off trailers where I was like, I don't know, like what the. I think I said it multiple times in the video. I'm like, what the fuck are we even watching? I think I said that for the Metal Gear Solid one at first, MGS3 remake. I was like, what the fuck even is this? And then I saw the snake, and then I saw the alligator, and I was like, oh. Okay, I get it.
So I don't know if you saw that, but Konami actually showed some first gameplay, like not gameplay screenshots, but in-game screenshots, and the game is pretty. There's a lot of freaking detail in those screenshots, and they're supposed to be in-game, not CG or bullshit.
For Snake Eater.
Yeah, for
Oh,
Snake
okay.
Eater, yeah,
Alright,
and
alright.
it looked pretty. So I'm hoping the rest of the game can show up in that. Although the only real criticism I have of it, if you look at the promotional image, Snake is like scowling,
Yeah.
and his eyebrows and shit are in his headband.
Yeah.
You can like they're part of his face. It's like,
looked-
what the fuck is that?
It looked weird. I'll be honest. It looked real
Yeah.
weird.
And the only thing I can think of is it's really thin and really tight on his head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it's obviously not, but yeah. No, I
See,
thought
here's my thing, right? So, if I remember correctly, MGS3 is about Big Boss, right? It's Vietnam era Big Boss.
It's about the OG
Yes.
Snake.
So, here's my question: are we seeing the beginning of a reboot?
I think it would be. I almost have a feeling that they're following the Resident Evil remakes, and if they can redo 3, because 3 is the first of
Uh-huh.
the chronological order of the
Correct.
games. It makes sense for them to start there if that's what they were planning on doing, and I'd be damn willing to bet that if this is successful, they'll do the same thing.
Well, so here's the reason I say a reboot. They don't say MGS3 in the trailer. They just say MGS. There is no call out
it's
for.
MGS. It's MGS Triangle, which is fucking weird. Which I guess is sort of 3,
the only
right? 'Cause
the only
3
thing I could think is maybe the Greek letter triangle. What is that called? Sigma? It's not sigma. Greek letter triangle. Oh, what is that?
So-
That's a delta. So that's the fourth letter in the
Delta
green.
symbol.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I could think
so
is it was
actually-
the delta symbol.
Well, Konami actually explained this.
Okay.
Their direct words is the delta symbol triangle was chosen because its meaning fits the concept of the remake project. It says delta means change or difference without changing structure. So
Okay.
we'll see what that means. Are they gonna make it like the Resident Evil ones where they're extremely similar, just extremely advanced, more modern, or is it gonna be?
I think they're going to follow Final Fantasy VII. If I had to guess,
Yeah,
I think they're going to take what was great about MGS3 and expand it to the scope that they wanted in the first place. Like it became really clear to
That would
me.
be a good
Say
way
what
to do
you
it.
say what you want about 7 remake. I fucking love it. It's very clear to me.
That's because anyone who doesn't like it is wrong.
Well, you know, and it's okay to be wrong. It's okay. But it became very clear to me that this was the original story they wanted to tell. Like, this was the original scope of Final Fantasy VII with remakes. So I wonder if they're going that route
Couldn't be
with
known.
Metal Gear Solid. No, not a
I'm
chance.
really hoping that is the case. I would much prefer not a strictly close follow-up. Like, strictly enough to where the story doesn't really change too much, but where they definitely expand upon it in
Yeah.
such a way that
Yeah.
makes it a much better game.
So
Absolutely.
I'm curious because they called it Delta. They didn't call it 3 Delta or whatever. I'm curious if
Yeah.
it's going to be the start of a reboot. I think a reboot would be good. I think it would be necessary for them because they don't have the mastermind that is Kojima. And that game is pretty fucking convoluted. Like,
It's gonna be hard to retell the story the way Kojima would.
well, and that's the thing is they don't have Kojima, so they need to move away from that. They need to move away. They need to streamline some of it. Like, they need to make it. They need to lower the bar for entry for players that haven't spent 3 hours looking through the fucking wiki.
3 hours is just minimum time. Too.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
I probably have a better chance of going and picking up Elite Dangerous and watching their 14 hours of videos to learn how to fly in that game than I do picking up Metal Gear Solid 5 and just being like, I totally know what's going on. It's the reason I still haven't played 5 is I'm like, or V or whatever the hell they call it is. I'm like, I don't know enough of this franchise, dude. I played Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 when they were new. I don't remember those games at all.
They're convoluted, but they're so good.
I know they
Once
are.
it finally clicks, you're just like, oh,
Dude,
and yeah, they're
you
solid.
had
But-
to
but
fight.
let's-
Just
I
want
was
to
just
say
gonna
one
let's
thing.
move on. Yeah, go
Want to
ahead.
say one last thing. You had to unplug your controller out of the first person or first slot on the PS1 and plug it into PS Player 2 to fight Psycho Mantis because he took control of your
know.
character. That was so fucking wild, dude.
I really wish more games would do stuff like
Oh
that.
my
man.
God.
And the games don't. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you can't disconnect your controller these days, so
Yeah.
it's not unplug it anyways.
Yeah.
But there's ways to get around doing unique things.
Yeah.
I think
That was-
more games need to figure that out.
But yeah, I don't know.
So-
What else you got?
Another PlayStation exclusive game made by PlayStation. So that basically the only ones that they announced that was made by them was that Fair Games, which again showed us nothing, and then what showed us even less was the Firewalk Studios game called Conquered. It's a PvP multiplayer FPS, and that's all we know because the trailer didn't even show a gun. Yeah, I guess moving on.
Can we
the first is
Can we briefly mention the Splatoon clone?
Oh yeah, that was as soon as I saw it, I was like, "This, I bet you this is Splatoon." And then actually, the name alone made me think that. And sure, which is actually kind of surprising that it took this long because there's 3 Splatoons at this point, and is it a fun enough game? So maybe it'll be good. And actually, I don't even know who's making that. To be honest with you,
I don't know either. But I was like, even in the trailer or even in the live react video, I was like, oh, Splatoon. Sony needs to tell like Microsoft or tell Nintendo fans to buy their console. I guess like they're just trying to do their stuff.
Yeah, speaking of it, actually, this title was not mentioned in PlayStation or Xbox's thing that stated, "Hey, these games are coming here too." So maybe that one's a PlayStation exclusive.
I think it was. I don't remember, but who knows?
If you like Splatoon, then look up Fun Stars. I mean, Splatoon's fun enough. Why not? And I wouldn't be too terribly surprised if it's going to be free to play.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
I was just going to say Assassin's Creed Mirage. What did you think about that now that there was finally gameplay?
I'm trying real hard to taper my expectations and my excitement.
It does look good, right?
I'm trying real hard to be like, yeah, but they're going to try not to like... You gotta understand, man, when Tenchu disappeared, when Tenchu disappeared and Assassin's Creed came out, it was like... That was the joint, right? Like that was, dude, the altered history. The fact I wrote a fucking school report off of playing that game because there was so much factual history in that game.
Just for our listeners or viewers, Tenchu will only die when Russ dies.
It's true, and it'll live on through my child. I will make sure of it. She will be.
But as for Assassin's Creed Mirage, when I was watching, I was like, "This looks like old school Assassin's Creed in a really good way."
Yeah.
The combat was obviously more modern, which I'm appreciative because they're not sticking to the old school so strictly. But it looked like a good old school Assassin's Creed, and I'm really hoping they stick with it.
I'm concerned that what they showed us is a vertical slice of a city in an open world. That's my biggest fear at this point. Is like Baghdad isn't the game. It's a small portion of a big open world. That's my biggest current fear, right? Is like, because that's been the way they went since Origin. Was like, there are these cities and none of them. It's not the same. You're not really in the urban environment, right? Like, I don't know. I'm really fucking hopeful that's not the case. Yeah,
it would be nice for them to just stick with a city. That would be really cool because then you don't have so much to worry about in these big open world environments if there's nothing in between.
Or even just a region, right? Like have a group of cities. I don't know Middle Eastern geography enough to really know, but like if there's anything else around Baghdad, maybe you have Baghdad and like a couple other small cities in one large zone, but not like, dude, I don't need to run over fucking Sparta, Athens, Thermopylae. Like I don't need to be all over fucking Greece, man. Focus in on the cities and make that the game. So I don't know.
I mean, having a living open world does kind of add a little bit of context, not context, but immersiveness rather.
But your cityscape, especially in Assassin's Creed, your cityscape should be the focus. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm slightly optimistic. It looks like they're getting back to brass tacks. Yeah, I'm trying to taper my expectations and my hopes. I know I'm gonna have to fucking use Uplay bullshit launcher on my PC, which is gonna suck because I don't want to.
It's fine, baby.
Nah, maybe. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. That's all I can say. I kind of want to see this be a solid reboot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah.
Well,
so next game you probably don't give a shit about, but I'm an anime nerd, and I know you like anime too. But I don't know if you know anything like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This game's been dark for so damn long that I'm just like, where the hell is it? And it looks just as great as ever. If I'm not mistaken, it was started development, or even might still be. Or no. It started development at. Damn it, I can't remember the developer's name, but they made the Bayonetta series.
Oh, okay. Platinum Games.
There you go, Platinum, and now it's being made by Cygames, and Cygames makes the hack games. So I'm excited because they make really good games.
So here's my question to you.
Go ahead.
What the fuck is the difference between that and Blue Protocol? Because they looked exactly the same to me. Like, I was watching it, I was like, oh, Blue Protocol, okay, cool.
Similar,
wait,
yeah.
What is this?
just a teeny tiny little sidestep there since you mentioned Blue Protocol. Sadly, it was delayed in America. It's coming out in Japan in July, and it was supposed to come to America too. It was supposed to be the worldwide launch, but they delayed the American one for the next year.
Probably voice acting issues or something.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But as for this, the main difference is Green Blue Fantasy is a single player. I think actually it might possibly have co-op, but I think it's actually a single player, and it's based on the anime, and it's just action adventure game. Blue Protocol is a straight up MMO.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's the major difference.
Well, if Grand Blue, God, they both have blue in the title. If Grand Blue has co-op, again, it might be a console seller. I would be. Give me something that isn't crossplay, that isn't cross-platform, that I can play co-op with my boys. That's all I want.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as that's concerned, they did show off Tower of Fantasy rather. That's a
that was that was the waifu simulator. I'm good.
It's basically Genshin Impact.
Yeah, it's super waifu simulator.
Yeah. That's straight up Breath of the Waifu is what that one is. And I love Genshin. Genshin's great. I love my waifus.
Nothing against it if it's your thing, dude. Nothing against it at all. It's just not for me.
It just has a surprisingly deep story. I wasn't expecting it to. Plus, there's a whole lot of FOMO in there with all the different characters. But
sure.
Thankfully, I can hold myself off from that.
Yeah.
In any case, I'm going to quickly rattle off the PSVR games that were announced because I don't know how many people care about that. They do, but they showed off Beat Saber's coming officially to PSVR 2. Thank God, because it's such a great VR game.
Yeah, that's a must. I wouldn't. I got to be honest, dude. Don't buy it on console. Don't. Just if you want to play Beat Saber, dude. If you want to play Beat Saber, just buy an Oculus Quest 2 and buy Beat Saber because there is mods to play any fucking song out there. Any fucking song.
That's fair.
Don't buy it on console.
Totally
you are
fair.
limiting yourself so hard buying that game on console.
They showed off Arizona Sunshine 2. They didn't show it off. They showed
buy that one
because it was a CG trailer.
Buy that one.
Great, because the first one's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game. It has crossplay, by the way. So you have a VR headset.
I do.
They showed off Crossfire Sierra Squad, which is pretty much sounds exactly. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a FPS that's a squad-based shooter that actually looks pretty damn good.
It reminded me a lot of like Counter-Strike, but done better if it was in VR, right? So like they make Pavlov, which is basically Counter-Strike VR, but it wasn't built from the ground up for it. So that one actually looks really solidly made for VR gaming.
Synapse actually looked really good too. Speaking of shooters,
yeah,
that one looked pretty solid. They showed off a new Friday Night Freddy's, which I've never cared for the franchise, so I'm like. And then the really big one was Resident Evil 4. The VR mode in that, holy shit! Like
that looked
honestly,
good.
Resident Evil 7 is the reason I bought the original PSVR, and thank God that the Resident Evil 8 is also getting got VR support for PS5. And then now VR 2 for Resident Evil 4. So I'm like, man, I gotta get money enough to buy a VR 2 so I can play these games.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed those aren't, like, the VR versions didn't make it to PC. I'm hoping there's some mod community love out there for us, but I don't know.
There is. There's one guy in particular that pretty much made a Capcom VR mod where he can take any Capcom game and toss it into VR. Like literally any.
Cool.
He did it with Devil May Cry and various other games too. So it's out there.
Interesting.
And then there was some indies they announced. I mean, there's Ghost Runner 2, which I played the first one and it frustrated me, so I didn't care for it.
Yeah, it's a speedrunner game.
It's gotta be perfect.
Yeah, it's a speedrunner game.
Speedrunner game, and if you're not perfect, then you're gonna die a lot.
No.
Lucky Square, which looked like it's a storybook type game. Interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Swords of the Sea. If you liked. Journey was such a phenomenal freaking game.
Yeah, that one did look good. That one did look good.
It's made by that guy, and it almost looks like Journey 2, but apparently it's not related. And it looks solid for sure. Teardown is coming, and it's actually kind of fun. It's a voxel based destruction game. Basically, you just destroy shit, and it actually has kind of a humorous story. I bought it for my Steam Deck, and it's an interesting title. I bought it for like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
We mentioned Cat Quest earlier. I think that one's going to be a fun little, almost, what's it called? Fat Princess. It looks like a Fat Princess style game almost, but with cats. And,
so, we are running out of time, unfortunately, for this episode. We do have a time limit because if we don't meet our time limit, I have to pay like $13 extra for an extra hour of coverage, which I can't afford. So we are going to have to wrap here for the night, guys. I do appreciate you tuning in, listening, whether it's with us here live on Twitch or over on the podcast. Make sure you check out our Discord and the new CoinDrop YouTube channel. Yeah, that one. CoinDrop VODs is that one. Yep, CoinDrop VODs. So we will be doing an after party tonight in about an hour. So we'll see you guys back then. And for our Patreon listeners, we'll be right back. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.